live. Hey guys, I am really excited to have my guest today. I have with me Veronica Bartolini. We're going to play the intro, if it lets me. Yeah, we're going to play the intro and we're going to get started. And this is awesome. Okay, so. Okay, great.
Such a cool intro.
Thanks. Yeah, and then I hit the subscribe. I got the subscribe thing going here, and then so people, okay. And today, guys, like I said, I'm really excited about my guest. I have with me Veronica Bartolini. I was able to connect with Veronica at the conference, and she's amazing. She has amazing abilities. Let me just what I wrote the blurb I wrote about tonight. I wrote from covert programs to soul. Why does that thing keep playing over and over again? Sorry. From covert from covert programs to soul retrieval. She's also a whistleblower, MK Ultra survivor, and spiritual warrior who's broken free from mind control programming. She's a successful author. She's an experiencer. She's a speaker. And let me just tell you, I got to meet her in person, and she has an amazing personality. And she is so friendly. And she just, when you meet her, you just want to be her friend, like instantly. That's the best thing I can say about Veronica, And that's what I picked up from you, Veronica, from your energy. You have an amazing energy. Thank you so much for coming on for the first time. How are you?
Thank you. I'm very excited. I called him Columbo. I call Robert Khalil Columbo because he looks like Columbo, and he's like doing all kinds of investigation on us, and it was really nice to meet you. And I wanted to take a picture with you and Matthew, but you're like, no, it's just the girls. And I'm like, fine, but we'll get a picture next time. It was
next year, because I'm so I didn't take a lot of pictures this year because I'm really out of shape. Like I know I don't talk about it, but like I'm not comfortable with my. I know this isn't good for a guy to not be confident, but I'm not real confident right now. I think next year I'll be in a lot better shape and I'll take a lot more pictures. Like some of the pictures came out really good that I took, and some of them didn't. So I was like, but I mean, it was amazing meeting you guys, and like I guess I didn't feel not confident because like you feel like around the full disclosure group, you feel like everybody's your family. You know what I mean? And that's how I felt last year too. It seems like everybody's like I don't know, like so like family, it seems like, I don't know, is that kind of the vibe you picked up too?
Yeah, I was really excited because I got to meet the people that I actually had been seeing, online. For example, Miles Johnston interviewed me. I met Sarah Adams for the first time. I had been listening to her, Miles Johnston, since like 2016. I saw my friend again, Susan Long and Amaria Sweet. We had seen each other 4 years ago in March of 2021 in Las Vegas, and I actually had them come up because I was a guest speaker then, and after they came up, everybody wanted to hear their story too. So then we started doing like podcasts. Katie Camara, I had Unchained Hearts back in the day, and I invited Ida Farhat to be on the show, and then let's see, Susan, Amaria, all kinds of people, and then they started with their shows. And it was nice to meet Ida finally in person, and Brian saying, I'm very grateful. Thank you, Brian, for having us be there and, making sure that we all made it. And it was just awesome. It was positive.
Yeah.
Now, as far as
so I was just saying, thank you, Brian, and thank you, Ida. They were both amazing to me, and everybody there, I think everybody has like such kudos for like what Brian's put together, and Ida's like his helper, and they're amazing people, what I mean? Like Brian's has such a good heart, that dude is like, he's got a heart of gold, that's why I want to help him promote this thing. I want it to get big for him, like he deserves it, man. I don't know. Would you kind of agree?
It will. Oh, I agree. I had a dream of him 3 years ago before I met him. I just met him 2 years ago, and he asked me for a reading, and I said, you know what? You were in my dream. And I wrote about it in my third book, Sheila Wolverine, Mars, Montauk, and SSP. I did talk about it. It's called The Crystal Dream. So I had a dream about him that he was going to pretty much be in charge of this, of the disclosure. And he was giving everybody opportunities. You guys can read about it in my book if you'd like to know more. But the whole place in my dream was full of crystals. We were walking upon crystals, and he gave me like a sifter, and then the more close I looked at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? So it was crystals. It was clear crystals, and then there was one emerald and one pink one, and I'm like, oh my gosh, with black. It was just beautiful. And then I see a giant male. And I don't know if it was, Brad Olson or my friend Marcel said fit he's in Germany, but he had this huge phone and he says, only take what you need. So I was like very, very grateful because I didn't have to worry about, am I going to eat today or am I going to have a bed to sleep in today? I was spoke in the Super Soldier panel as well as the Montauk panels, and I was just very, very grateful to be there. I manned my table. I took my books, my T-shirts. I even took my books to sell, the ones that I make by hand, my junk journals. And I got to meet a lot of sweet people, even the guys from Denmark, Lucas Alexander, Loudon, just a lot of great people. And I'm looking forward to next year. Now, Brian said that we might be in Sedona before the year's over or right after. And we might be even able to go to UK with Miles Johnson. So we'll see. Oh, I also met Laura Eisenhower for the first time.
Yeah, she's amazing, right?
Just a lot. She's sweet.
Yeah. One thing I wondered about you is that I thought when I first heard your name and I hadn't met you, I thought you were Italian. And then I met you and I was like, oh, she's Hispanic. Like, are you from like Mexican
Not
heritage?
I was only born in Mexico. My great grandfather comes from Corsica. I'm Italian. I'm Italian.
Oh, you are
Bartolini.
Okay, so it's mixed. You're mixed.
And so I'm mixed. I'm Italian, French. Mosot is the last name. Bartolini is Italian. And then on my mother's side, I am German. Her great grandfather's name was Richie. I'm Ashkenazi Jew from her as well, from her father, which is Gomez bloodline. I am. My mother also has a bloodline from India and Dominican Republic. My father has Persian blood as well. So I am a mix. I was only born in Nogales and I was there for a year in Mexico. And then we came to Arizona. So my great grandfather was Francisco Antonio Bartolini, and he was a doctor. And Napoleon sent him to Los Alamos, him and his wife, my great grandmother. They didn't want to come, but he sent them to Los Alamos to work with Oppenheimer and the Tesla technology. And I have a feeling that he did work with Enrico Fermi because I have just dreams of him and Tesla and my grandfather. I did a regression a while back with James Rink, like a few years ago, and he came up, even though I didn't know this, that I was, that all this happened. I didn't know this until 2 years ago. One of my uncles was giving me the breakdown. So what I find interesting is that one of my grandfather's sisters, so my great grandfather, Francisco Antonio, had he had 2 boys and 2 girls. So one of them was Francisca Bartolini, and he ended up marrying one of the Oppenheimers, the brother of the Oppenheimer, the one that worked on the bomb. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Then, he took her to, it's called El Dorado for their honeymoon. It was a very expensive place called El Dorado. It was a resort back in the day. And from Oppenheimer's family, he was warned. He said, if you marry her, meaning my aunt, if you marry Francisca, we're going to disinherit you. Well, they loved each other so much that they didn't care. So they ended up getting married. And a few years later, when they went to South America, when Oppenheimer left to South America, the brother, they shot him in the back. They got rid of him and they got rid of my great-grandfather. My great-grandmother, last name was she didn't want to go back to Corsica or, France or wherever because she left everything there. She just didn't want anything to do with that anymore. She stayed here in the United States. So we went from Corsica, Los Alamos, some went to Mexico and some stayed here in the States. And one of my uncles, my father had 12 brothers. And one of my uncles, Claudio Bartolini, he worked for NASA and he's a geologist as well. So yeah, we're pretty well known. Like I said, I didn't know all this until 2 years ago, and I had already been talking about my experiences in the Super Soldier program, and I was, I graduated the Department of Defense when I was 16. So they took me when I was a year and a half. They meaning Mangala, Dr. Mangala, and the two brothers from the Soviet Union that fled the Soviet Union. They went to Mexico. So that's how they used me in the programs. I was in the Dolphin program, which I named Crystal Gates. I did write about it in my book, Sheila and the 99, and that is more detailed. The Dolphin program, the Hulk program, and I finally was able to print out the T-shirts. So yeah, and then the second book is actually should be the first book, but it's the second book called My Life in the Secret Space Program. And I talk it's just like a rundown of my life, like since I was taken at a year and a half and till now. So
yeah, I just want to tell you that like when we were at the conference, I was standing there next to Matthew Morgan, and you walked by, and Matthew Morgan was like, "That girl is very legit." I mean, I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but he said he could tell that your story is very like legit, and that and like I kind of got that feeling too. It seems like you've been exposed to this stuff for like a long time, like and I mean, did you just start getting memories back recently, or like how did that process work?
I started getting back memories in 2017 because I started watching Max Spears and James Caswell and Sarah Adams. And so I'm like, oh, holy F. I said, I'm involved in this. What the heck? These memories just, I started piecing things together. Like since I was a child, I've been targeted for many programs and just a lot. They did take out my father. He committed suicide when I was 13. So they hurt me that way. They tried to break me that way and my sisters. And they took him out because I have family. I don't want to say who, but they're involved in Scientology and shit like that. And I don't want to talk too much about it, but my dad was taken out. He was supposed to do what I was doing. He was supposed to disclose. And then they tried taking me out too. I tried to commit suicide 4 times. One of them, I ended up in the hospital for a month and a half. I died for 3 days. And I saw things that, everybody in the church would say, oh, you got to go to heaven. You got to go with Jesus. Well, I'm telling you, I didn't see no Jesus and I didn't see no heaven. And I saw okay, so I was in the hospital, right? And I woke up in the hospital with my hospital gown. And I'm like, where the F am I? And there was these charcoal blue beings that were cut in half. They looked like the Hindu wannabe gods, what I call. And they were looking at me like this. They all had black, jagged haircut, yellow eyes. All were cut in half on my machines, on the floor, like I said, charcoal blue. And I'm like, what am I doing here? And so there was a white light around the doorway. And I said, well, what am I doing in the hospital? So I said, I have to go look for a doctor, a nurse to have them tell me, why am I here? As soon as I open that door, I'm back in the room. Those beings are gone. But my dad's in the corner. He's in the corner. He's wearing his hat. He always would wear a cowboy hat when he was off. Button-down shirt, corduroy pants. He was always very well dressed. And I said, Papa, in Spanish, I don't want to be here. I want to stay with you. Please, I don't want to go back to Earth. I do not want to go back to Earth. I was like, no, I was crying, holding on to him. And he says, no, in Spanish, you can't. You're not done yet. And you have 2 kids that love you very much. And I just cried and cried. And next thing I know, I'm holding on to him. And I take the deepest breath ever. And I'm back in my body. My body's all cut open and shit. It took 20 doctors to save me. My cousin, my mom, they said, yep, 20 doctors to save you. We were going to just disconnect you. I started pulling stuff out of my nose, the tubes that they had me, just my arms were tied down. So it's been a journey, man. They didn't want me to be here. And they also, my children are also in the secret space program, which I'm not going to talk too much about that because they don't want me to talk about it online.
Yeah, no, that sounds like you went through hell and back, so, but, I was thinking you said your dad was meant to disclose. He probably was, but, I think more so you, because it's this time that we're living in right now, it seems like this is the time that, people are coming out with their story, and you have a story that needs to be told, and, I think it's your mission to disclose this stuff, I really feel like, maybe you can honor your dad in that way, that you're picking up a torch, and you're in an age where people can disclose now.
Thank you, Rob. Yeah, they also didn't want me to be in this conference. They sent me, I don't want to cry, but they sent cancer to me. So in 2023, in August of 2023, I was just having a really hard time working out. Like I couldn't like do the complete squats. I was in pain. I was like having these tumors in my pretty much my hip area. We'll just say the glute area. And I kept telling my doctor, I need an MRI. I need something. They kept denying my MRI. And then my doctor went MIA. My doctor,
Wow.
Codebreaker is his last. He was my doctor for 20 years. And then all of a sudden he was gone. And I talked to his wife and he said, Veronica, he's lost it. He's drug addict. He's all these women. Can you please help me find an attorney? I helped her find an attorney. I still can't get my record all those years from him, And when I went to try and see him again, the whole office was being demolished. So I don't know how to get my records from there. Which is another thing is I was in the military, I was in the army, and they denied my benefits. I'm pretty much what they call a ghost, or what they call dipped, to be in these programs so that they can use me as an assassin and things like that. But anyway, I'm probably going to have to get an attorney for that. So in 2023, I finally went to another doctor. I had to change doctors. I went to a surgeon. I said, hey, so-and-so, I need for you to take these tumors out. And he says, oh no, they're lipomas. I take these out every day. And I'm like, no, they don't seem like it. It's just very painful. And so I had that surgery on August 29th. And on the 27th of September, he calls me and says, hey, you have cancer. It's called myoxid liposarcoma stage 3. And I'm like, I told you, like I knew something was wrong, but of course I didn't say I told you. He said, okay, thanks. What do I do now? So he guided me to go to a cancer center. Now, this is weird. The day in August, before I left that surgeon's office, I said, I'm going to go and cancel my my gym membership because I can't really walk. I can't work out right now. And I passed by this apartment complex that was next to the hospital. And I had never seen it before. It's surrounded by farm area and everything like that. I knocked on the I called the phone number. Nobody answered for the apartment complex. And then the lady answered the phone and she actually showed me the apartment that was available. And that apartment is my birthday. And I'm like, I'm supposed to be here. It smelled like my grandmother's old house on my dad's side. And I'm like, this is supposed to be my apartment. And so sure as shit, like they say, I moved here. And a month later is when they said you have cancer and I'm next to the cancer center. What are the odds of that? I had to learn how to trust myself. Something kept telling me in my heart, you have to move. You have to get over there because in my other apartment, they had sent roaches. I had never had roaches before. And I'm like, what? And Jessica Morocco told me that it's actually a program that they have in certain areas to trigger people, especially the targeted individuals. It's some kind of holographic thing. I don't know what it's called, the program, but they will send that or fire. My apartment almost caught on fire one time too, and I had to put my hands out and just think cold so that the fire in the oven would stop. So I just knew that I had to get out of there. And I found this place. Lo behold, cancer center's there. So then anyway, I went to the cancer center and they said, yeah, we have to take out all of your glutes from hip to hip because you have some tumors that are 10 centimeters, some, all the way from 10 centimeters all the way down to the smallest scale. It's myoxid liposarcoma stage 3, and I didn't know what to do. I mean, a lot of people told me, you should detox, you should do this, you should do that, and I did what I could. I did do the ivermectin, I did all kinds of stuff. Even my friend Sybil Haynes sent me Pedicure or whatever for dog deworming. I took that. I took wormwood, clove, walnut. I did all kinds of detox. Okay, turpentine, black seed oil, but the shit was not gone. So I'm like, you know what? I better do this surgery. And I was like, okay, I either die or live, but I'm going to live. I kept telling myself I'm going to make it through. So finally, they cut me from hip to hip. However, the doctor sent me home necrotic. I do have pictures on my YouTube channel. It's called Codebreaker Real Talk. It's under the playlist called My Cancer Journey. If you'd like to see those gruesome pictures, you're welcome to it because they botched me. They sent me home necrotic, all black and stuff. And then 4 days after I was here at home, fluids started. The lymphatic system just went bonkers. There was a bunch of fluid that my body was producing, and the 4J tubes that I had on were not working. So I go to the office. My daughter's there, my family, my mother, everybody's there that I get to witness what's going on, you know. And I thought, okay, well, he's going to send me to the hospital maybe again or whatever. Oh, no. He cut a hole on the left side to drain right there and then. He didn't even tell me he was going to do it. It hurt like hell. Anyway,
That's
on
crazy.
Christmas Eve, on Christmas Eve of 2023, I was in the hospital again because I was bleeding. I had to call an ambulance and I had to take my ass to the ambulance, or no ass. I could laugh about it now, but anyway. And then so Christmas Day, they finally, because it had got infected. It's just so gory, but they had to put a wound back. Okay. And then I thought, okay, well, you know, I had a nice nurse. Then I get the evil nurse, the second nurse. Okay. So my first nurse, I hope we have time. My first nurse was so kind. Okay. And she had to she's like, oh, I'm going to go get my surgery. You know, she wanted to do a leg lift. She had already done her butt, boobs, stomach, whatever. She goes, now I'm going to get my legs stretched. I'm like, what the heck is that? I'm like, okay. So then she left another nurse in charge. Well, she made sure that I went septic. She told me, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't put the protector, the Cavalon on you. Oh, I'm sorry. I rolled the foam. And I'm like, and you've been doing this for 40 years, wound care for 40 years, and you don't know that you're not supposed to do that? My first nurse warned me about that. So anyway, this was done on purpose. I just know it. So in January of 2024, I end up septic, and I end up getting 2 blood transfusions. I always said, no, I don't want the blood transfusions because they wanted me to get them even before all this, you know, before on the second surgery. So now 3 surgeries later, I'm like, I better, because I was fainting here at home. I didn't want to eat. Everything was disgusting to me. I even when I went that evening on Christmas Eve, they had to take blood. Actually, in January, they had to take blood, and I needed a chair, in other words. And so they gave me 2 bags of blood. I'm O negative blood type, so I can only receive O negative. I can give to anybody, but I can only receive O negative. And I had lost my hair.
I'm O negative as well.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm the same blood type as you.
Oh, cool. That is neat. That means you're pretty strong. Yeah, we can survive anything. I'm telling you. Thank goodness. Anyway, so I ended up getting the 2 blood transfusions, and I thought, okay, we're good now, right? And my oncologist said, you're gonna need to go see a pulmonarist, and I'm like, why? Oh, because last year, you know, we saw this nebula on your left side of your lung, and you have something on your right lung. And I'm like, well, what is that something? And he says, it's calcified. It looks like perhaps maybe you have had valley fever. And I'm like, well, the only thing I know is that when I lived on the south side here in Tucson, Raytheon poured some chemicals, some radiation into the water. And of course, it was a porcelain town, right? So we drank it. And a lot of us got, they say, valley fever. So there's a thing still on my right lung where it's solid. They don't want to take it out. They said they can't disturb that. But on the left side, there was a nebula. So then they did another, they did a CT scan, MRI. They even did a PET scan. And the PET scan, it had this much of, it's like a titanium glass. And then it has radiation. I got sick, so sick for like 3-4 days, both ways. I was like puking and everything. And, you know, the doctor's like, well, we can give you radiation or chemo. And I'm like, I don't want anything. I said no to when I had the other cancer. Why would I say yes? You know, so I said, no, I'm not gonna do that. But what they had to do is January 20th of this year, 2025, it was hell. I had to have my lower left lung removed. So if you notice, we have 3, like the earlobes, we have 3 lobes on our right side of our lung and 2 lobes on our left. So they took out the lower. Okay, I had a chest tube and everything. And he's like, okay, well, let's see if we can send you home faster. I was already there 4 days, and they want to take out my chest tube. And I said, I'm not ready. I just know I'm not ready. But the doctors, they decided to push this thing with sugar in it. It's some kind of crap that they push into you to see if your lung can stay and not collapse, because my lung had collapsed again. And so they had to put another chest tube in there after that didn't work. And okay, so it was not my regular oncologist who did it. They sent me to this dumbass who supposedly the nurses said that he was really good, that he was going to be the next and oncoming doctor. And so he just went in there, cut me. And I screamed, I'm like, you need to give me something. And he wouldn't. And so I wrote this huge complaint because it was hurting like a mother. And I said, I don't want this guy to be the next upcoming, doctor, surgeon. And I even made sure my oncologist knew what he did to me. I reported it to the head nurse. I reported it to everybody. And I'm even reporting it now. These people don't care, okay? And he was not a Nazi. He was from another country. He was not a Nazi, but it felt like a Nazi. Like, they don't care about you. You're just a number. So anyway, I was there a total of 11 days in the hospital. I still have a lot of pain. A month and a half ago, they did 10 shots of lanacane and something so that, they're called nerve blocks. Well, when I was at the conference, I was in a lot of pain, and they were supposed to give me a cryo freeze, an intercostal cryo freeze, but they couldn't because the insurance hadn't approved it yet. So I went like that with a lot of pain, and I held my own. But right now, I've been in bed for 2 days. my
Dude,
knee
I
is
feel so
going
bad
on.
for you. I really feel bad for you. Like, my heart goes out to you. Honestly, I hate to see people go through that kind of stuff. Like, I saw my dad die of cancer. I feel bad for any. I mean, like, I know I'm probably going to get it someday. I try to do everything to not get it, but I mean, it's.
No, don't say that.
I don't know.
Just keep taking care of yourself. I had to stop smoking because I was smoking for 4 years American Spirits, and I've had titanium put in my neck, my S1 through L5 6. So I have titanium in my back. I still need more titanium on the T zones, but I had to stop smoking. And then 7 weeks ago, I said, F this, I'm going to go back to the gym because my routine is working out 3 hours a day, 4 times a week, no matter what. I'll take 2 days off. Great. I'll go swimming, whatever, hiking, but it's 4 days a week at the gym, 3 hours at a time. And one of them is cardio. So I had to change my life again. And I went to, I do high protein. I know a lot of people in the community are vegan, so my hat's off to you, but I'm not. I do a high protein. I try to not do carbs during the week. If I do, it's maybe a cup of organic brown rice, but I do vegetables. I do a lot of meat, chicken, salmon, fish. I have like one cheat day, usually like pizza or something on a Sunday.
Yesterday, I lost 10 pounds at the conference, and then I was like, I've been on this diet, and like yesterday, I think the audience remembers, like I got so energy drained. I had 3 shows yesterday. I got so energy drained. I was like, fuck this. I was like, I'm ordering a pizza, and I ordered a pizza, and I ate like 4 pieces of pizza. I was like, but I mean, like, it's one day, it's my cheat day, but now I'm back on my day, and I feel good because I'm losing weight. Yeah. I used to be ripped. I used to be like you. I used to work out all day long. Like honestly, because I was into MMA and stuff. So I would do
awesome.
Yeah, I have the pictures on my Instagram. I used to have like a 4-pack. I had a 4-pack and like a tiny, like I had huge biceps. Like, people can see this. It's on my Instagram at Khalil Robert. Like I used to do like 300 push-ups a day, sometimes 400. I would do like 50 pull-ups. I would do like mad crunches, like leg raises, all different variations of crunches. The only thing I used weights for was bicep curls. I would swim, but like now I went through a bad breakup and I just kind of let myself go and I got out of shape. But this is kind of how I am throughout my life. Like I'll get out of shape, then I'll get in shape. It's kind of like an ongoing battle with me. You know what I mean? Like, but I like to work out.
Well, Robert, it's now time for you to get back in shape.
I agree, because I think I'm losing weight and I feel a lot better. Like I feel a lot better.
Yeah, I still have a long way to go. I mean, before the conference, I lost a dress size, so instead of an extra large, I went down to a large. I'm used to being a medium, maybe a large, but I'm top heavy. I can't change that. And then because I didn't have any, I couldn't, I couldn't sit down for 5 months after the surgery of the glutes. I had to this day, I still pull myself up with my upper body because it's still a little bit hard to use my legs. But good thing I have a German Shepherd and I live in 3rd floor. So I'm always going up and down the stairs. You can get back to it. It's just a mindset. It's like, okay, are you done grieving? You know, you can grieve at the gym too. You know, listen to your music, you know, in there and just you know, I think it's time, Robert. I mean, it's up to you, but I commend you. You know, I know breakups are hard. Believe me, when I had my divorce shoot, I weighed 274 pounds after that freaking divorce. I let myself go for 9 years, and they had me on clonazepam, mirtazapine. They had me on CPAP. They had me on blood thinners, heart medication, lung medication. I show my picture all the time when at the conference, like, and I said, that's not me. I was a bodybuilder since I was 13. I started at 13. I won 2 competitions. I'm like, this is not me. So I had to go back and just reclaim my life. I said, no more. And I went celibate. I'm like, no more. no more. So I'm the happiest ever. Mm-hmm. I wrote my 3 books this year.
That was a problem in my life too. I used to be I used to like to have a lot of sex, but I mean, like, you know, I kind of grew past that. You know, it's you know, I think I'm 45 years old. I don't know.
You're still young. Yeah. I used to also, but like I'm like, no, it's either my peace. Okay, do I want to have sex or do I want to have peace? Well, I want to have peace. I'm 54 years old and I'm good. Like I'm not saying it's not good. I'm not trying to tell you guys what to do. It's my life. I'm telling you what happened to me. And this is my life. It's not yours. But we can all learn from everybody, right? So that's all I'm saying.
You have a lot of knowledge, and you know what? You make good sense because sometimes that just brings a lot of drama in your life. That's from my past experiences. It always brings drama, you know? So, I don't know. Yeah. But let's talk about this. Let's get into some SSP stuff. And, like, so why do you call yourself the Codebreaker? Like, tell the audience about that.
Well, ever since I was a child, I can see things that not a lot of people can see. And, you know, I do have high functioning autism. I didn't know that until 2 years ago. And I'm seeing a practitioner and he's going to be helping me in February. But it's still hard to speak because I know a lot. Like I can do quantum physics in my head. I can go astral. I'm a remote viewer. You know, some people say, oh, I'm a galactic remote viewer. Well, I'm a remote viewer for everything. Okay? You don't have to put like, you know, names like that. But anyway, I do a lot. I can see interdimensionally. I can see spirits. I can read mind. I know when people are lying. I know as a child, it was really hard for me to speak, even to this day. And so my mom even has a picture of me asking for water. I was like, I couldn't get the agua out. Like they would make fun of me because I couldn't really speak, you know, very. Anyway, the words are hard to sometimes for it to come out. So I would start crying because I would get mad. And then sometimes the weather will change if I get extremely mad or sad or just, you know, even happy. I'll bust out like a light or whatever. My energy is so strong that I sometimes mess up the internet or whatever. So the day that I was going out I'll just give you an example. So even at Target, like I'm trying to pay for something and my card won't work, right? But obviously it's not because it doesn't have money. They usually have to put like little plastic thing on it or wait, or I have to tell my daughter, here, you do it with my card and I'll step away like 10 feet away and then it'll go through. Like when I went to the conference, they had already charged me like $230 for 3 bags, right? And then I go on the front and they're like, you're 7 pounds over because of my books. And I'm like, okay, well, how much is that going to be? Oh, $200. And I'm like, what? Okay. So then I gave her my card, and she was there, the lady. She's like, she wouldn't say anything. And then she's like, you know what? It's not working. Just go ahead and go free.
That's
I'm
awesome.
like, what?
That's awesome. Like, I mean, like, you know, like, I mean, like you after what you went through, you deserve a break, man. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, like you're a good person. Like you have, I was being honest. Like you put off such good energy at the conference. Like everybody, like was so happy to have you around. You know, like, I mean, like, you know, like that from the people, you know, like everybody was like so happy. Like you just you have a great presence. You know, like, and you were so happy that everybody else was there too. You know, like it was just like. You know, but I think it's like I said, it's going back to this. It's like the full disclosure now crew. It seems like we're all family. You know what I mean? Like it's like I don't know how to say it. Like it seems like we all know each other from past lives or something. Or you know, I don't know.
Yeah, it feels great. And then I do want to say that I did have the dolphins show up. It was my friend Amy, the one that did my jewelry and does everybody's jewelry. She and I were singing. And we're like, okay, let's just like sing and see what happens. And then like 10 minutes later, it was like 1, 2 in the morning. So we were floating. And then I said, okay, I'm gonna see if I can hear something. And then I heard the dolphins. I heard them go. I'm like, it's the dolphins. I told Amy because I have an affinity for them. I just love it so much. I was a hybrid dolphin. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like they're here actually. And that night, I had found a beautiful shell, like a huge half of a heart shell, but I couldn't find my towel. And I'm like, well, I guess I'll just leave it here. I set it on the sand again, and I went to swim again for another hour. And then other people showed up, and then I'm like, okay, well, I finally found the towel. I went back to my place, and then the next day was the day that we had to leave. And I really wanted to bring some seashells home. And guess what? When I got out of the ocean, there was 4 seashells, 2 big ones and 2 medium ones, all for me right there. I was like, thank you, dolphins. Like, it's so cool. The reason why I'm happy is because I want everybody to come up and be happy and feel worthy and feel like we're a family. Everybody is different, but we all have meaning in these shows, conferences in the world. And that's why I started my channel too, because I wanted people to tell their story. So anyway, they as a child they put me in ESL because they said, oh, her first language is Spanish, Italian. And I'm like, they made an excuse for me to be taken out of class. So every day they would take me and my middle sister out of class, and they would go around the room saying, okay, mi nombre es, my name is, how are you doing today? I am fine. How are you? And then boom, I'd have lost time. Like, I don't remember. They would show us like these little cards here and there, but I don't remember. Every day though, they would take us out. And then we'd have bubble tests. I had a lot of ear tests. When I was a kid, I was cleaning out my, using a Q-tip to clean my ear. I think I was like 4 years old. And I heard someone say, "Ooh, what if you push that Q-tip into the the sofa there, right?" So in the chair, and I pushed it in, and it started bleeding. And then my mom had to take me to the hospital. They gave me cortisone. I blew up like a balloon. I'm allergic to cortisone. So that was my clone. That was I would say my 3rd clone. Because I blew up. I was like so big, and I had the red fiery long hair, and it wasn't curly back then. It was so weird because it was I have different clothes throughout my life, and I knew that was not me. And so it's just weird how my parents couldn't really tell, but me looking back, I can tell. My clone, I had another clone at age 14. My mother took us to Baja California because she was escaping my stepdad. And she cut our hair. To this day, I can't believe it. My hair was all the way down to my waistline. She cut our hair. We left for a good month to Baja California to go visit my mom's family. All of Baja California, all of that tail is actually my mom's fortune, my family's fortune. But because the families have been fighting with each other for years, even the attorney, even 4 years ago, I told my mom, you know what, the attorney's going to backstab you, and she didn't believe it, and she did. She took the other side of the family's female as a counter, as they had sex, in other words, and so they flipped her, so that way our side of my mom's family couldn't get the money or any of the land or any of the oceans. So we're still fighting for that in court. I don't even know if we're ever going to get it. I hope so, just for my mother's sake. I want her to be able to go on a cruise or something. I want it for my children's children, maybe not necessarily for me, but like for my future, for my bloodline. And to help others, just like Brian Sang helped us to get to the conference shoot, I want to give back. So I'm grateful that I'm speaking here with you now, Robert. So going back to the programs, I had a lot of ear tests. I was sick all the time. My mom would inject me with penicillin on my butt every time I was sick because I had bronchitis. I have the Nephilim bloodline, so it's really hard to breathe this air here. I had lung problems since I was born. And she would not only inject penicillin, those glass injections. It was horrible. But anyway, I was always sick. My mom just didn't want me to go to school. It's kind of like that gypsy girl that her mom put like a feeding tube and shit in her stomach. Well, good thing my mom didn't put a feeding tube, but she'd put injections in me. She'd give me pills for sleeping, or there was one year where the doctor said, oh, she has allergies, and they gave me like this big old green pill that I have to take for years. I don't know what the hell was in there, probably nanites. But anyway, at 1.5 years, I was taken by Mangala and the other two doctors that were escaping the Soviet Union. They started giving me the shots, the plasmoid shots, and this is I have records from ACIO, Peter the Insider. And sure enough, I was placed in the Dolphin program. I was also in the Montauk programs, Monarch. I am a hybrid wolf and a lichen. I have many dreams, many fights with the blue dogmen. Some of the blue dogmen, according to Jessica Morocco, they're from Pluto, and not all of them are good. I do have fights with them in my dreams, and even some of the dog people, the wolves, they're my friends. And I have many dreams of being a dog or a wolf in my dreams as well. Not just mermaid, not just, I have my lion friends as well. They protect me. One of the dreams that I wrote about in the third book is there was these beings in Pluto. They were half lion and half javelina with long hair. And they told me that I'm here to take out a certain race, but they didn't tell me what race I'm taking out. It's just very interesting how many dreams I have of rescuing children, like the one about the dolphin hybrid sheep children that I rescue. There's even the unicorn children that I rescue, and I have unicorn bloodline too. And unicorn pretty much represents, they call it Jesus bloodline, but we are the Merovingian bloodline. If you look at the M in your palms, we are from the Merovingian bloodline. We are mermaids. We are pretty much Mary and Jesus bloodline. Secret that the government. Yeah, you do? Yeah, you do. You see it. There you go. Yeah, it's like sideways. Yeah, there it is, right there. Do you have it on your other hand?
I thought I had an X on one hand and M on another. I'm not sure.
No, they're both M's. They're both M's.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're M's. I love it. And they're actually O negative.
Negative too? Is that it?
Yeah, the O negative is in the M as well. If you are not O negative, it has to be like a negative O negative carrier in the like the mom or something. So I'm constantly battling in the astral. I'm taking care of children. I'm rescuing them. I'm always with teenagers or kids, rescuing them, making sure they eat. I have the future. I'm come from the future. I'm pretty much a star. So I'm a shooting star that came in, and in 2018, 2017, I said, you know what? There has to be a real God that loves me, because I want to take myself out again. I'm like, I don't want to be here. Like, this sucks. This is before my awakening, after the shooting happened in 2010, after the thing at the hospital. So in 2017, I had a rosary and I was just praying. I'm like, if there's a God that loves me, like I won't take myself out. Like, but not the God of the Bible, not one that eats children, you know, not the ones that are nefarious, just the creator that really just loves me. And that I'm here to do good for humanity. And so the next thing I know, there is a light, which is a shooting star that came in outside and then hit the floor. It was like, pah! And then at the same time, there was a beautiful big white light that came out of my chest. Like it just exploded out of my chest. And then I fell to the ground and I'm like, holy F, like what just happened, right? And I was living with a couple back then. I had already gotten my divorce, and the girl's like, what the F did you do? Like, are you opening portals? And I'm like, what's that? Like back then I didn't know what it was. And what are you doing? There's already been a portal that was open here because I guess some people were doing some witchcraft before they even bought that trailer that we lived in. I'm like, I don't know what are you talking about. Let's go outside, And so we went outside. There was some neighbors on our left side. I could still see them coming out of their mobile home. And they're like, did you guys hear that? And I'm like, yeah, did you guys see anything? And they saw the same thing, the shooting star. They heard everything, but there's nothing on the ground, nothing. So I didn't know back then what it was. I think it was me rescuing myself, like pretty much myself. A lot of people say, oh, you're walking. Well, I'm me. Okay, like I'm me. I came to save my ass because nobody else is going to save us. Okay, only you save yourself. How do you save yourself? You save yourself by breaking programs, right? Addictions, by clearing your heart space and being true to yourself and not giving an F what people think about you, because people are always going to talk anyway. And people are always going to be like wanting to be, a part of you if they, to be a part of something, but they'll lie. They'll lie and say that they have memories when they don't. So we have to be very, very careful. I think all of us are used in the secret space program. I think all humans are. I believe it. We're all targeted. It's just some people are aware of it, some people are not. I do take a lot of pictures of the diamond aircraft that come here from the Catalina Mountains or a mountain. There's even some that come from what's that other one? Mountain Lemon. There's a lot of craft here. And I take a bunch of pictures and I tell people, okay, the military, these are TR3Bs. I make videos on my YouTube channel, or I will post them on Facebook or my Instagram. So I have 2 Instagrams. But anyway, I just want to tell my story. I wrote 3 books, and a lot of people were like, well, did you use AI? And I said, not to write, because I already had 25 journals written of my dreams. They're my dreams, my experiences. And so I tell people, why don't you guys just write about your dreams, like what you experience here on Earth. I did get help from Chad Cooper, which is Zen Ray. He did make the face to look like me as much as he could. He did as far as AI, he did the pictures in the book. Now, this one is no longer, this one is on Amazon and it's 301 pages, but the original one, which was, gosh, it was like 125 pages. I don't have it on anymore because I actually added my classes in the end. They're about AI, nanites, things like that, the bloodlines, artificial intelligence, all that. So, and then in the beginning of this one, I had a picture that my daughter drew. She drew 2 pictures of the Greys. So, wow. But she wanted me to take it down. She doesn't want me to show, to have anything like that. So I took it. So this is like the original book, but the one that's 301 pages, the only thing it doesn't have is that picture. But it has like all the classes and stuff. And I do talk about Enrico Fermi. I talk about dark journalists, the Kona blue technology that they use. For example, they're excavating over there. They have been excavating for years. In Bisbee, Arizona, Nogales, Arizona, in Tucson, they're excavating not only for gold, but they're excavating for what I call what dark journalists calls the Kona blue technology, is pretty much the azurite with the copper and the lapis lazuli. I love the lapis lazuli. I wear it a lot. I'm wearing it up here. But the lapis lazuli and the azurite have a lot of the copper in it, which are being used for the crafts, for military crafts. Now, some people think that there are UFOs, but most of the, we'll just UFO crafts are military. And the disclosure, part of the disclosure that I like to disclose is, that's what I like to do. I like to put up pictures and say, okay, this looks like that. The Monterey, I predicted the Monterey because I saw it on by A Mountain when I lived over there. I saw it, and they usually have 2 to 4 choppers, and then in the middle you won't see anything, but they're ushering the Monterey. And so FBI agent, I spoke with him, John DeSouza, last month. He spoke here in Tucson, and he actually had me speak as well, which I'm very honored. And he was telling us that, they use military grade paint to paint the aircrafts every night so that they're invisible. But I also told him about the military cloaking technology. The military cloaking technology is like the one that they use in Wonder Woman, 1984. If you look at that movie, 1984, there's a lot of secrets. Like, for example, the transhumanism thing. They want all of us to pretty much go into nanite form, to go through the wormholes, to go through CERN, to usher in the sleeper cells, some of the plant life, some of the children, and some of us. They want us for the new Earth, but I say no. They're afraid. They're afraid to go back to what they call creator source or the architects, because then they have to pay for their, I guess you could say sins. I don't believe in sins, but they have to pay for what they've done to humanity. Yes, I still think that they have to pay for what they've done to the children. I do have, like I said, I come from the future, so there is an incident that we do save a lot of animals, people. All of the coastal lines are gone. California's gone. Texas is gone. Parts of Las Vegas, Mexico. It's the coastal lines are gone in my dream, and I'm in my Black Mars suit, and I'm taking all these people. We're sitting them down, and my other super sorted friends are around me, and we're in a 3-tier craft, and there's some screens, and so we sit the people down. Then after they watch what they're supposed to watch online, to let them know what's going to happen next, me and other friends, we take the females and the children, and we make sure that they're bathed and everything. And then we convene after all this. We convene in somewhere in Mexico, which I'm not going to say where, but all the males, females, everybody comes together, and Susan and I or others are feeding them, because we have the power to, we have the abilities and also the technology to create abundance in food for everybody. So now, when we take these people to the 1st-tier craft, I go up to the 2nd part of the craft, and then I give some paperwork to Susan. We high five. Then the 3rd tier, it's Warner Von Braun, and he's telling me, here, eat this. He gives me something, and I grow very small, like Alice in Wonderland. And I look up to him, and he kind of looks like a gray with big goggles and a fedora hat. And he says, I'm sorry for what I've done to you. And then I grow up again, like in my military thing outfit. He gives me a hug again. And then he says, I'm sorry. He leaves. And then a family member gives me a red, huge button. And when I'm like, oh, okay. So then I go to the 3rd part of the ship, and there's these silver doors that open. And when they open, I see Hillary Clinton catatonic like this with the harness, a red harness. There's other officials that have hurt the children and the planet that are there. And then I press it and I blast them out of here. So that's me from the future. And disclose that we win at the end. Love always wins. Soma Ara says, it's true. Love wins. And there's a lot that happens to try and stop us, but we have to keep going. There's more to say, but I have like 4 more minutes. Sorry.
Well, yeah, we have time. I mean, you can go. You can keep going. I mean, yeah, it's yeah. I mean, this is amazing. I thank you for telling your story. This is like, I had a bunch of questions, but I was like, I can just let me see what
yeah, ask me. You can ask me.
Let me see here. Do you
the audience has questions.
Yeah, audience, do you have questions? If you guys want to ask a question, but I was going to ask you about memories. Like, do you feel like you've gotten implanted memories, and do you feel like you've gotten screen memories or real memories, or like, how's that go? Like, you know,
There's some all of us have real memories and embedded. So it's up to us to use our intuition, and that's why I tell you all to write your dreams and things like that, because, for example, they knew the situation that I had with my ex-husband. He was a cop, I was a cop. There was a shooting, and that's all I'm going to say. You guys can read it in my second book. And in my dreams, they tried, they put him there all the time. My ex-husband having sex with me, and I'm like, no, I do not consent to astral sex. Well, that's not my husband, okay, ex-husband. That is a hologram. Those are actually beings that are on the other side, what they call the veil. I have had many dreams where I'm looking at the scientists on the other side of the screen, and they're just observing me, looking at me, trying to trick me to do things. Most of our dreams are made to challenge us and to test us. So my whole thing is, I'll always say I do not consent to astral sex or taking anything like gold or any of their food or any of their drink, because they like to trick you. A lot of these beings, for example, I had a dream that I was having sex with Archangel Michael, and I'm like, F you, I'm not going to have sex with you. And it's, of course, it's the doppelganger of the other Michael. But it's just really interesting. I want to tell you, now that I'm speaking about Archangel Michael, in 2018, I was really like interested in knowing more about Archangel Michael. Because when I was a police officer, they gave me a pin that had Archangel Michael killing the devil, right? And on the other side, it had my name, and they said, congratulations, you're part of our squad. I'm like, cool. And I was at a mall outside, and it was like a day off that I had. And I kept looking on my phone, like things about Archangel Michael, like pictures and just information. I was drawn to him. And then all of a sudden, I had to go to the restroom, right? So I go to the restroom inside the mall. When I come out, there's an old man, about maybe 90, maybe 85 years old or so. And he's dressed up in a light blue, very old suit. Like, he doesn't belong there. And then a fedora hat that's maybe from the 30s or 40s. And he's wearing this chain, this gold chain that says King of Kings. And he has a Bible on his left hand. I'm like, it was not even Sunday that day, And he doesn't talk to me. He has blue eyes, like white hair. What he does is he pats me on the shoulder and he gives me a hug and he leaves. I was like, what the heck? Did I just like ask for Archangel Michael to come, or what the hell just happened? Did I open a portal or something? Because I do have the power to open up wormholes. And I wanted to tell you about the Renata dream. Can I tell you guys?
Yeah, I'd love to hear, because she was a good friend, Renata.
I
love Renata.
I told you, I told you I was going to tell you on the podcast. I'm glad I remembered. So I had never met Renata. Like, I didn't know about her until Susan told me, hey, Robert just posted that she passed away. And I'm like, who? I'm like, oh my gosh, I was like really sad because, I heard that she had cancer and all that. And I was looking at your podcast. She's really, really smart. And she was really on point about the military S bands and whatever, all kinds of bands that the military sends us to in our ears to like fuck up our mind and shit. Like, and she was really on point with that. I do have an MRI on my brain that maybe in another time I can get the scan, because I haven't asked for the actual, CD thing, but I did get my results. They had to do a brain scan because of the migraines and also because of the cancer. They wanted, in case I had to have radiation, which I said no to. So she was on point with that. And that night, I had a dream of her. She came to me. I was opening up a wormhole and bringing in pilots. And then she showed up in a house that I had. And in that house, there was another house behind me. She was in my kitchen and she said, look, this is my daughter. I go, oh, I didn't know you had a daughter. Yeah, she's my daughter. And I said, oh, nice. And I said, nice to meet you. And she gave me this, it was something square wrapped in, she had like a brown crochet bufanda or scarf. And she gave it to me and she handed it to me. And what I handed to her was my key, so that she and her daughter can go live in the house behind me. Now, I don't know to this day what she gave me. And I was that's the only time that I had a dream of her ever. And I'm very grateful that she showed up in the astral. So thank you, Renata, wherever you are. Whatever you gave me, I'll take care of it, and just let me know if there's any more instructions that you'd like me to do. And to all those that have gone before us, like my spirit too. So they're still here with us.
I wondered if maybe they took her to like a facility or something, or maybe she was targeted or so. I don't know. Like something wasn't like, I know they can make clones and body doubles and stuff like that. And I would never disrespect her mom. Her mom was a really nice lady. But like something didn't seem right. You know what I mean? Like something was like, I don't know. Like she was saying she was targeted all up into the very end. But then someone told me they're like, if she's an asset like that, they wouldn't just let her die. They would take her underground or something. I don't know. Like, what do you think? Like, as being a, like,
okay.
You know what I mean?
So, according to, if you guys listen to Sabrina Wallace, we could do another show at another time. I have like 5 minutes. I'm sorry. But Sabrina Wallace, she's very important in this community. She talks about DNA sequencing. So we call it timelines, but she says, no, they're not timelines. They're DNA sequencing when they, go into your brain and like add things to you or subtract. So she was talking about under the Petri dish, she saw how from our DNA, they can make shoes, they can make chairs. And a long time ago, I told people, look, everything is sentient. Our laptop is sentient, my phone, this notebook, I feel it. Like ever since I was a child, even the stuffed animals, I have 10 stuffed animals even now, because to me they're real. Everything is real. This cup, this glass is real to me. It's sentient. The water's sentient. You can speak to it. You can, send love to it and malleate. How do you say that? Make it into just beautiful, like something beautiful for you and others. So the thing of it is she was saying that when we leave from here, they actually can take us underground, and they can put our consciousness in a little pin like that, a sewing pin, the top of the pin.
Yeah.
That's our consciousness. And I always tell people that we are overlaid with animal DNA. Okay, some people look like rhinoceroses, some people look like horses. My dad was half horse, half human. We are not just, we're all made out of different animals, and it's not, people say, oh, well, I'm not a Sasquatch, I'm not a monkey, I'm not a dog. Well, I'm like, some people are very naive. They don't know about genetics or anything like that. I have a book that I read, 2 books that I read. One of them is called The Gene, because I was looking for a cure for cancer for myself. Like, what do I do for people, what's going on, to study it? And I couldn't find anything on cancer, but I found that one. And then the same author authored a book called The Emperor of All Maladies, and it has a big old crab in the front. And I had told people before reading this, I said, don't take the chemo, because the chemo, if you look at the people from the Holocaust, they're like all pretty much very skinny and no hair. What do you think they did to them? It's fucking mustard gas. And so a year later that I read this book, which was last year, lo and behold, mustard gas is used in chemotherapy. They used it. Okay. So you guys have to like really, if you all could want to know more, I highly suggest reading those 2 books. My doctor, my oncologist, was surprised that I had the Emperor of All Maladies and the Gene book in my room. He says, do you know that we doctors have to read those? And I'm like, wow, I'm impressed. So there's a lot of gene technology, hybridization, a lot of cryogenics, a lot of things that go into making a human. And pretty much clones could be done, I think it's in hours now, pretty much like maybe 7 to 10 hours, maybe less, depending on how long do you want that clone to last. So to answer your question, it's a possibility that they could have put her in an underground base. A lot of us are taken down to underground bases to genetically modify us into whatever they want, to erase our memories. I'm an assassin. I have a sex altar. I also talk about in my book CIA Love Bites. I named it CIA Love Bites, BITES, because they will send people to you, whether it's a sexual thing or not, to try and handle you or get information. When I was dating, I dated a lot of cops and military. That was my go-to, because I was a cop and I was in the military. And I didn't want to date like the normal people. I don't know. Even though I did once in a while, But it's just I would get information from them, and they would get information from me. There was a DARPA agent that came to me. He was actually his brother, and he actually went to school with me, one of the schools that I went to in high school. And he came to me, and he took me to a ranch here in Arizona, and he says, "Hey, I'd like to hire you, but I can't hire you because you're talking about the CIA, and you're talking about all this stuff that's happened to you." And he just showed me a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have seen. But he said, "Do you know how many people I can bury here? Nobody would know." I don't really want to talk about it, but I said, "Go ahead, kill me. I have no regrets. Do it. I'm not going to stop talking." So I've been threatened. My mom's house has been broken into twice. My apartment has been broken into once. Before I had Lola. Now I have Lola and my cats. Of course, we have weapons to take care of ourselves, but the best weapon is our heart and our mind and our soul. Just the goodness, make sure that you surround yourself by good people, not jealous people, because people will be like your best friend, but then they flip on you. They just flipped my co-host 3.5 months ago. They flipped him. So now I have another co-host. And,
Hey,
if a lot of people
come on your show, I'll come on. Like, if you ever want to co-host, I'll co-host with you sometime. I'd be happy to do that for you.
Yeah.
Just hit me up, honestly.
Okay, why don't we do it next Wednesday? Because I'm on my shows are Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Arizona time. You want to do it next Wednesday? You want to?
So right now I have nothing. You mean Wednesday the 30th? I have nothing scheduled for that day. So I have some I need to schedule for the end of the month. So yeah, I can do that for sure.
Let's see, calendar. Yes.
Are you going to have
Wednesday.
a guest or are you gonna interview me?
Huh?
Are you going to have a guest? Am I going to host, or is it just me? You're going to interview me?
It's going to be you, me, my co-host, and I think Samara is going to be there. We'll do a round table. How about that?
Yeah, that'd be cool. That sounds really fun. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I will put your name here, Robert, and then I will send you the link when I'm done here. So one more question, because I got to go. Sorry.
No, I was going to see if the audience had anyone. And, I just want to say, guys, I got the audio site up and running. So I put the link in the chat. Just use the audio site, guys. Download, listen. Help me rebuild the audio. But I think that's good. I don't want to, I know you got to go. It's okay. Do you want to take a minute and tell people everything you want to promote? Because I know that's important.
Yes, thank you. I will send you the links right now. So pretty much I have my t-shirts called Sheila and the 99. I have my book, Sheila and the 99. And then the second book is My Life in the Secret Space Program. The third one is Sheila Wolverine, which is, she's pretty much Logan, but in, Hulk form. This one, by the way, the one that has 310 pages of Sheila and the 99, the 99 are actually you guys, whoever they made from my bloodline. From my DNA, they made more Hulks. They made the Silver Surfer. Talk about the Silver Surfer. The wolves, all kinds of beings. So I'm pretty much their protege, I guess. That's what they like, the first Hulk, and then from me came the others. The second one is My Life in the Secret Space Program. The third one is Sheila, Wolverine, Mars, Montauk, and SSP. And I'm gonna write another book, but I'm gonna take some time to write that one. Because my dreams keep coming. Like, there's more information every day dreams. So I used up pretty much my 25 journals, and I have another 3 more that I started. So we'll see what I pick and choose. Let's see. I know I'll be there next year. And what else? What else am I promoting? My channel is Codebreaker Real Talk, but there's a playlist as well. And I also have Unchained Hearts and Unchaining Hearts. But the one that I'm using right now is Codebreaker Real Talk. I have 2 Instagrams. One is Codebreaker Real Talk. The other one is Vero's Junk Journals, which is VERO, which is my nickname. Junk Journals. I make books by hand. And then I have Telegram, Codebreaker Real Talk. Facebook, Codebreaker Real Talk. Just Google my name, and then stuff will pop up if you don't remember. But it's okay. I'll send you the link so that you can post on this video.
Yeah,
and I also started doing that.
Sorry.
So I also started doing the X39. I have the X39 patch, X49 on. I also have the Aeon, which is for pain. I have the Ice Wave. So if you guys are interested in the X39, I'm actually registered under Michael Jaco. I met Michael Jaco in Las Vegas in 2021. He's pretty cool. We were in the Navy together. Oh my gosh, I do talk about my Navy dreams that I had on the Sheila and the 99. There's just a lot, Robert.
That's cool. That's cool. This was awesome. No, thank you. Thank you. This was awesome, Veronica. And yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. And yeah, and I'll see you guys either later tonight or tomorrow. And have a nice day, everybody.
Okay.
And take care. And thank you.
Robert.